If you follow these 3 easy steps, and I can guarantee that you'll be able to get rid of your weed addiction and take full control over your weed usage. Now, there's a difference between quitting weed and taking full control over your usage. Quitting weed is actually pretty easy because all you really need to do is just take away your accessibility. Like, move to a country where weed is illegal. Move to Vietnam. I can guarantee that you'll quit smoking weed there, because if you get caught smoking weed there, then they're gonna gun you down. Go to jail for 6 months. Like, if you go to jail for 6 months, you just won't have the accessibility. The only way you'll be able to smoke weed down there is if, I don't know, you do favors for someone. You hurt your knees. You're kind of like pimp out your behind. Some people might not be into that, but I don't know. You do you. But there's a big difference. Now, if you take away your accessibility, but you go back to where you had the accessibility, then what's gonna happen? You're gonna go straight back to smoking blunts. And I know so many people who went through this. Like, I know people who moved to different countries for about 6 months because they have school there, or they just moved there for 6 months just to move there. They had no weed there, but when they came back to where they came from, they started smoking again daily, every single day, 24/7. And there's reasons for that, and I'm going to cover the reasons for that in this video. Now, there's 3 easy steps, but before I explain that, why should you listen to me? Why should you listen to this weird guy with the hat on? Whatever. I was addicted to weed for 7 years straight, and it took me 5 years to actually quit my weed addiction. Like, after 2 years of smoking weed, I kind of figured, like, shit, I need to stop doing this, and I went on a 5-year journey of actually trying to quit and taking full control over my weed usage. Now, me myself, I still smoke like 1 to 2 times a year, maybe 2 to 3 times a year. I don't know. But I have full control over my weed usage. I do not yearn for weed. I don't have the urges to smoke weed. The only times I really smoke weed is, I don't know, like when there's a celebration or something like that. But I'm not like itching my face like a crackhead to stop myself from smoking weed like some of you watching this video. It's not a problem for me. I could go the rest of my life without smoking weed and I won't give a fuck. Like, I won't care. I don't need weed. I don't have like an attachment to weed anymore like what I used to. I tried everything for 5 years straight. Nothing worked until I followed these 3 steps. So make sure you're actually paying attention to this video, because you want to get to the point where you're able to take full control over your addiction. Look at people like Joe Rogan. Like, for example, Joe Rogan, he still smokes weed, but he doesn't smoke weed every single day. He doesn't have an addiction. He enjoys smoking weed. Sometimes I enjoy smoking weed. Like, sometimes I'll go to, I don't know, I'll smoke weed and then go to all you can eat sushi with my boys or something like that, with my stoner friends, and I'll have a good time, but I don't have the urge to smoke weed. I really don't care for smoking weed anymore. So you need to get yourself to that point, because like what I said, you could quit for an extended period of time, but you're still the same exact person as you were when you stopped smoking weed. So you're going to go back to smoking weed whenever you have the chance. Because think about this. A lot of you have probably quit for about 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks, maybe even a month. But what happens when you take that first tump of your blunt again? You develop a full-blown addiction again. Some people will quit for like 3 weeks. So they're doing good, and then what happens? They get peer pressured by their friends, which is going to happen because this happens to every single person who quits smoking weed. They say they're gonna quit. They quit for about 3 weeks, and then what happens? They end up smoking again, and then after they get that taste of weed again, it kind of like fires something up within them, and then they just develop a full-blown addiction again. It happened to me for 5 years straight, and it's happened to you, and I know it's happened to you because you're watching this video. So pay attention to these steps. Now that I got that out of the way, what is the first step? The first step is to, 1, keep smoking. Now, some people are probably thinking, oh, what are you talking about, keep smoking? I thought this was a video about how to quit smoking weed. Oh. I get it. It sounds kind of counterintuitive. But the reason why I say keep smoking is because there's one thing that you need to get rid of, and smoking is the only way that you could kind of like get rid of that thing. And that thing that you need to get rid of is guilt. Now, the reason why I say that you need to get rid of guilt is because of the fact that guilt is kind of like a corrosive emotion. So if you feel any sort of guilt behind smoking weed, then you're never going to quit. And the reason why is because, think about this. If you guys know what, oh, fuck, I just broke my freaking marker, whatever. If you guys know what the scale of consciousness is, if you don't, then you could search it up. It basically scales all the different emotions that you could feel from like top to bottom, and guilt is at the bottom. Shame and guilt are the 2 most corrosive emotions that you can feel. So if you are in a state of guilt about anything, then that's literally doing more harm than good. Some people might think that guilt is a good thing, which it can be sometimes, because obviously if you're not guilty about something, like if you are guilty about something, then it shows that you show some sort of remorse, and it shows that you know that you can do better. But the thing about guilt is that it keeps you in a state. It keeps you in, I guess you would say, like a low vibration for all like the spiritual weirdos tornadoes out there. It keeps you in a low vibration, and when you are in that sort of low state slash low vibration, you're more susceptible to being seduced by the entity of weed. You're more susceptible to being seduced by different negative things. Now, what do I mean by that? If you are in a state of guilt, think about this. What is guilt? What is shame? Shame and guilt are kind of like interchangeable. They're kind of the same thing. When you're in a state of guilt and shame, what you are doing is you're kind of hiding from things. You don't want to accept the fact that you did those things, so you kind of hide from it. What is shame? When you feel some sort of shame, you're kind of hiding from that thing because you're shameful of it. You don't want to accept the fact that you did that thing. So you're kind of hiding and you're not really looking at it. So if you have some sort of addiction, let's not even say weed addiction, but if you're addicted to anything, like if you're addicted to like explicit content, if you know what I'm saying, like adult videos and that sort of shit, which a lot of you probably are because a lot of weed smokers are addicted to that shit too, then you're not going to accept the fact that you are addicted to that thing, and you're not going to look at it. So if you are a weed addict and you kind of know that you have a problem and you're guilty or shameful about it, you're going to kind of push that away and not really accept it and look at it. So if you keep smoking, what you need to do is you need to take away all the guilt and shame that you might feel from smoking. You need to kind of see it as a neutral sense. You need to see it as a neutral thing. Because if you're stuck in that low vibration, then it kind of puts you in the identity state of someone who is going to smoke weed again. Why? Because it's kind of a cycle. It goes, oh, I'm going to smoke weed, but I feel guilty about smoking weed. And to cope with the guilt of me smoking weed, I'm going to smoke weed again. And this is a true thing. A lot of people can't really conceptualize this, or a lot of people don't really understand this. And I get it because this is kind of like advanced shit. But keep smoking and pick a date where you're going to stop smoking. So let's say you want to stop smoking after 3 weeks or something like that, or maybe even a week. Give yourself like a week or two. Maybe 1 week is good. Give yourself 1 week. Say, okay, I'm going to smoke for this 1 week, and then on this date, I'm going to actually try to like quit cold turkey. During that week when you are smoking, don't feel any guilt or shame for smoking. Just smoke and then kind of observe it like it's a neutral thing. Kind of be like, this is interesting. I noticed that when I am smoking weed, I kind of feel a bit stupider. I kind of feel like my IQ points are dropping. I kind of feel a bit lethargic the next day. I kind of feel like, I'm not doing anything productive. You want to kind of observe yourself like a third person perspective. Because the thing about guilt and shame is that when you are clouded with guilt and shame, you can't really view things from from like a bird's eye view or a neutral perspective. So you won't really know exactly what's going on, if that makes sense. Because if you have that filter of guilt and shame, it kind of clouds your judgment a bit, right? So you need to make sure that you're taking out guilt and shame fully and keep smoking and observe. That's one thing I'm going to put down. Like what I said. Make sure you are observing everything from a third person's view without judgment. Do not judge yourself for this. So after you've done that, and then you get to the second step, which is, fuck, I forgot the second step. No. The second step is dealing with your emotions. Now, what do I mean by this? A big reason why people even smoke in the first place is because of the fact that they're trying to hide something. If you have any sort of addiction to anything, that's kind of like a clear indication that you are trying to escape something. The reason why you do that addiction is because you're trying to fill some sort of void that you don't have within yourself. You're trying to, I guess you could say, escape the emotions of something that you are dealing with. So for a lot of people smoke weed just because of the fact that they're trying to escape the feeling of being bored. A lot of people are trying to escape the feeling of, I don't know, some sort of anger that's going on within their life. Maybe there's some things that they're trying to hide from. Maybe they don't like the way their life is even going right now. Maybe they work a job that they don't like, and then at the end of the day, they kind of smoke weed to kind of cope with the fact that they don't like their job, or they kind of cope with the fact that they don't really like what they're doing with their life, or they don't really like the direction that their life is going, and so they kind of smoke weed to do that. And it's with anything. It's with people who drink alcohol all day. Just think about this. Think about like an alcoholic. What do you think of when you think of someone who's an alcoholic? They're not drinking alcohol just because they like the taste of alcohol. No one likes the fucking taste of alcohol. People are drinking because they're trying to numb themselves from a certain thing. People watch a bunch of porn because they're trying to numb themselves from a certain thing. People play video games all day because they're trying to escape something. They're trying to escape the real world. So what you need to do is you need to figure out what the fuck you are hiding from. What are you hiding from? For me, the biggest thing that I was hiding from is the fact that I didn't know what the fuck I wanted to do with my life. So whenever I smoked weed, I was like, damn, like it kind of makes me stop thinking about this certain thing. So if you have something that you're hiding from, or if you have something that you know that you need to do, and you have some sort of responsibilities that you need to deal with, you need to deal with that shit. You need to go ahead and be like, yo, fucking stop being a bitch and grab that shit by the horns and then ride that. Fuck, then pause, but you need to grab that and then start. You just need to take that shit by the horns and then go and deal with it. Like literally, just deal with whatever you need to deal with. So when I actually faced, I guess you could say, the thing that I was hiding from, that's when I stopped feeling the urge to smoke. Because once you get rid of this trigger, once you get rid of the thing that you are hiding from, and once you actually deal with it, you don't feel the urge to really smoke like that, because there's nothing that you're hiding from. If you're to handle your emotional issues out there, then, like there's no reason for you to smoke, because there's nothing that you're hiding from, like what I just said. So what you need to do is you need to find out what the hell is going on within your mind. And the only way that you can find out what the hell is going on in your mind is to observe your mind. Don't be as scared to face it, because the thing is that a lot of people are scared to face what's going on because they're scared of change, or they're scared of that certain thing. But the thing is, though, are you a bitch? Just ask yourself that question. Are you a bitch? Like, can you not deal with your certain emotions? Like, can you not deal with your emotions face to face? Because if you can, then it's okay. Maybe you are a bitch, but that's completely fine, because that's what this video is for. We're gonna get over that, right? And I didn't mean that offensively. Like, I'm just joking, obviously. Like, you're probably not a bitch. Like, a lot of people go through this stuff, right? So figure out what this is. And like what I said, for me, it was the fact that I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. So I felt some sort of comfort when it came to smoking weed. It was kind of like a safe space for me. It kind of made me forget about all my problems, right? So figure out what the hell that is and then deal with that. By the way, one thing that I need to mention right now is that my program, I have like a community where I have a whole program that goes into this in depth, like complete depth, and it gives you weekly tasks that you need to do to fully get rid of your weed addiction, and it's completely free right now. Completely free right now. And the reason why I'm making it free right now is because of the fact that I need more beta testers for the program. So click the link in the description below to get this program for free. And it's a free community right now. So I charge for this shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, this stuff I was charging, but like, I'm planning to charge for this. So you need to make sure you're getting this for free right now before it hits the limit, because I'm only making it free up until a certain amount of members. So make sure you are clicking the link in the description and then going into that program, and you'll get access to this plus a bunch of other things in there too. Like, I have a whole program on how to make 5 to 10K per month with a certain online business, that sort of stuff. And you're going to get all of that for free. So make sure you click the link in the description below, or else you're not serious. You're just not serious. Anyways, back to what I was talking about before. Step 2 is get rid of the thing that you are hiding from. Face it like a man. Be a person who is able to face your stuff. The third thing is achieving something. Now, this is very important, because once you've dealt with these two things, now you have room. You have room to develop yourself even more. Because once you get rid of these two things, these two first steps, like guilt and then dealing with your emotions, those are the biggest triggers when it comes to smoking weed, right? It's the thing that's going to make you want to smoke weed. But the thing is that you need to maintain the new frequency, or maintain the new vibration that you're at. And the main way to do that is to achieve something. Because think about it like this. If you aren't striving for anything, then it's easy for you to fall back. If nothing is important to you, then that means that basically you're susceptible to a bunch of different things, because you don't have anything that your mind is on. If your mind is not on a target, then you have no direction. If you don't know what direction your life is going in, then you're going to sway. You're going to drift. If you have no direction, then what do you think is going to happen? You're going to end up smoking weed again, because you don't know what the fuck you're doing. You're going to end up falling into different addictions because you just have no direction in your life and you don't know where you're going to go. So what do I mean when I say that you need to achieve something? What you need to do is you need to set a goal and then go after it and then achieve that goal. And that goal could be anything. Maybe you want to start up a business. Maybe you want to start up a YouTube channel. Maybe you want to lose weight. Maybe you want to get your dream body, start going to the gym, eating more calories, bulking up. It could be anything. But you need to make sure that that goal is big enough to be important enough for you to go achieve that thing. Because what you're essentially doing when you're quitting weed is you're sacrificing weed for a new life. And what does that new life consist of? That new life, I'm guessing, probably consists of things that you want. Because if you don't want to grow within your life, then you could continue smoking weed if you want. You could just keep doing your thing, keep smoking weed, and keep staying in the position that you are in right now. Because that's what weed does essentially. It just keeps you in the same position that you're at in your life right now. It stunts your growth. It just completely stops your growth. So what you need to do is you need to come up with a goal that's important to you. Come up with something that you want to achieve. Ideally, you'd want it to be bigger, but it could be kind of like a smaller goal as well. Like I would say a small goal is losing 15 pounds of fat. Anyone could do that. It's pretty easy. Or bulking up 15 pounds of muscle. And what you need to do is you need to dedicate your day-to-day life to achieving that goal. So let's say you wanted to go ahead and lose weight. Do some research on how to count your calories. Do some research on working out. Do some research on exercising. Let's say you want to start a business. Start taking the steps to go ahead and start that business. Start reading some books. Start watching some YouTube videos about how to run certain online businesses. Start watching money podcasts, whatever. But you need to be taking steps towards your goal. And you need to basically show your brain and show your mind that you're actually on the way to achieving that thing. Because once this becomes important to you, you're not even gonna want to smoke weed. You're just not gonna want to smoke weed, because you'll know that if you smoke weed, then you're not gonna be able to achieve your goal to the highest potential. Like a reason why I have so much like control over my weed usage is because of the fact that I know that if I smoke weed, then it's gonna sway me away from achieving my goals. Like I have a business to run. So if I smoke weed, the next day when I wake up, I'm gonna feel lethargic. I won't be able to go to the gym. I won't be able to speak properly in my videos. I won't be able to run the business the way that I want to run it. I know that it's slowing me down. So once this goal becomes more important than feeling high for a couple of hours, then your weed addiction just kind of fades away. It fades away super easy, very easily. So that's one thing that you guys need to realize, because a lot of people who have a weed addiction, they have goals. They have something that they want to strive for. They have something that they want to achieve, but their brain kind of just stops them because they don't have the motivation, because their brain chemistry is so fucked up from all the weed and all the freaking dopamine, artificial dopamine that they're getting, that their dopamine receptors are so crashed that they don't have the motivation to go ahead and achieve that goal. So I know you have a goal. Like I know there's something that you want to achieve, or there's something that you want to start. There's some sort of business that you want to start up, but you just haven't done it because you just don't have the motivation. But now that you stop smoking weed, now that you've done these first two steps, you have the room to go ahead and achieve that thing. So what you need to do is come up with that goal. Now, after that, there's one more bonus step that you could do. The last bonus step that you could do is smoke again. Now, a lot of people might think, oh, what the fuck? Like, what are you talking about? Smoke again? Oh, that sounds counterintuitive. And when I say when smoking, the reason why I say that you need to smoke again, or you don't need to smoke again, it's an optional thing, but smoking again, it kind of shows you that you don't need to go back to smoking weed. Because think about it like this. If you're on your path and if you're achieving your goals, if you smoke weed again, you'll notice that it's going to sway you away from your goal a bit. You're going to feel unmotivated the next day. You're going to feel like shit the next day. So if this goal is important enough to you, if your dream life is important enough to you, you're going to think like, "Oh shit, I can't be smoking because after I smoked again, I felt like shit. I don't feel the best." So that's going to take me away from achieving my goal. That's going to take me away from my dream life. It's kind of like the Lamborghini analogy that I always say. Let's say you get used to driving a Lamborghini. You know, you're going down the highway, fast speeds, the acceleration is fast, it looks good, people turn their heads whenever they look at you, and then one day your Lamborghini breaks. And then now you have to drive a 2001 Toyota Corolla that's 300,000 kilometers on it, that's breaking down. You're used to driving a Lamborghini, so when you go back to driving that Toyota Corolla, you're going to think like, what the fuck? This is shit. I want to go back to driving a Lamborghini. Why? Because you're used to that speed, you're used to that momentum, and you like it. So every single time I smoke weed again, it kind of reminds me of how I used to be back in the day. It reminds me of driving that 2001 Toyota Corolla. And I don't want to be driving a 2001 Toyota Corolla. That's not how I want to operate. I want to operate on the Lamborghini speed. And once you're on your path and you're achieving your goals and you're getting momentum and you're striving and you're thriving, bars, you're basically in that Lamborghini. You feel so good that you don't want to go back. So once you give yourself a taste of what it's like to be what you were like before, you're not going to want to go back. So you can smoke again. And then after that, you'll be like, yeah, I didn't really like it that much. You've outgrown weed. You've outgrown it at that point. Because it's kind of like this. There's probably been times where you played a video game or something like that, and then you outgrew that video game. You played it again, you're like, oh, it didn't hit as hard as it used to back in the day. It's the same exact thing as weed. And once you get to that point, then that means that you've unlocked full control over your usage. Before, you're the type of person that needed that shit. You're the type of person that was itching for that stuff. You're the type of person that needs to smoke weed, or else you're not going to be able to cope with your emotions. But now when you smoke, you're like, oh yeah, that was cool, but like I don't need to do that every single day. And that's when you unlock full, what was the word? That's when you unlock full usage control. Yes, sir. Anyways, like what I said before. Click the link in the description below and you'll get a full program that goes in depth in all this stuff. And it's free right now. It's not going to be free forever. So make sure you're clicking that link in the description below. All right, guys.